Hey everyone, I'm Bill. I'm with Cali Moto TV. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to A&S Motorcycles here in Sacramento, California. And today we're on our adventure bikes again. We're on a 2020 BMW 850 GS Adventure. Now, usually I'm on the big adventure bikes. Today I'm on the middleweight adventure bike. Now this adventure bike has 90 horsepower and 63 pound-feet of torque, so it's a very nice, manageable adventure bike, and its price tag is just above $14,000. So let's take a look around the bike, let's get geared up, and let's get on the road and see how this new 2020 850 performs out on the road. Everyone, so we are here at A&S, and huge thanks to them for letting us take some new 2020s out. But we're on the middleweight class BMW Adventures. So Bogna is on the 750 and I'm on the 850. Now Bogna has reviewed the 2019 850 that had the low seat option. So for you guys that are looking for a smaller or taller bike, you can go back to the 19 and look at her low seat option review. And then of course today is my standard with the 2020. So let's get this 465 pound bike upright, mirrors adjusted, and fired up, brand new, 10 miles only. So we're on a chilly day, and let's get these on right out of the gate. Heated hand grips. Let's go number 2. Now I was smart today and left my house without any gloves. So thanks to A&S, they do have some loaner gear. So if you guys are ever at A&S and you don't have your gear, they've got helmets and boots or gloves and jackets and everything. So it'll be a little chilly with these, but not too bad. Let Bogna get caught up. So straight out the bat, quick shifter was kind of nice. You know, I always love the quick shifters on these BMWs. They're probably my favorite. Now, to talk about the quick shifters and my past with them on the GS 1250, I didn't really like how it shifted on the GS 1250. So we'll see how it goes on this, but so far so good. So we are on the GS 850 Adventure, 850 cc's, 90 horsepower, 63 pound-feet of torque, and again 465 pounds. Pretty manageable, actually. You know, with the big bars, it's always pretty easy to wrestle around the weight. So the bikes always seem quite a bit lighter weight when you've got the big bars. So, and this is definitely not as it's close to weight. I think 485 is the 1250. So relatively actually pretty close weight wise, but I think the 1250 is a bit taller, so you do get more top weight. But this is kind of a treat for me because generally I'm on the bigger adventure or bigger touring bikes. You know, these the Multistradas and the S1000, the Triumph Tiger 1200. As you guys know, if you don't know, I do own a Tiger 1200 with the bags and everything, and I absolutely love it. Now, I fell in love with that bike on a test ride. So if you don't want to buy a bike, don't go and test ride them. But this is very nice. It's handles great. So far we're in road mode, and suspension setting is in road and single rider, so you can see that down on the bottom. So one thing that's nice about the BMW GS is, and well, I guess almost everything but the S1000, is that you can change the suspension on the fly. So if we want to get a little bit more comfier, we can do that by just hitting the suspension button, and going into dynamic, which is obviously going to stiffen up the suspension a little bit more for the back roads and whatnot. And then right on the fly, if we want to get a little bit more road style, we can. So now we're in the road, and then of course we can change it to a 2-up rider, which will, you know, obviously allow for more weight in the rear. Kind of a weird statistic number. I haven't seen anybody really list this, but BMW lists a max payload for the bike at just over 1,000 pounds total weight. So we can put 500 pounds in addition onto this bike. So I guess if, yeah, you're a slightly larger person, that is a pretty good number to be able to know, because, you know, I'm at 235 pounds, and, you know, if I had a larger significant other at 235 pounds plus bags and everything, we might be at our max capacity. So that's kind of nice. I've never really seen the payload, maximum payload number on weight, so just over 1,000. Comfy seat, kind of like a saddle. I don't know why I pulled in the clutch, but I did. So one of the things I do like about the quick shifters on BMWs, Wagner was on an MV Agusta, and it was somewhat like the Yamaha, where you have to be completely either on the throttle or off the throttle in order to shift. So if you want to shift down right now, I'm on the throttle, okay? I can shift down on the BMWs. But on the Yamahas, you have to be off shift, then get back on. So I appreciate it, BMW. Thank you for giving us that ability to be able to be on the throttle. Even just a little bit on that Yamaha won't allow you. And she said the MV Agusta was the same way, so maybe same programmers. So seat is nice and comfy. I like it. It's definitely you know, the adventure style. This is going to be good for our long distance rides. So it's very nice. It's got the kind of back, you know, the little back butt rest, I guess you can say. And as far as my knee positions, everything is nice. It's a nice chair position, so it's not too far back, so it's not a sporty foot peg feel, and it's definitely not stretched out, and it's definitely not that my feet are down too far. So it's just, for me, 6'2", 235 pounds, very, very, very comfortable. Now, the ergonomics of the bars are, this bike is just pretty much spot on. The bars are pretty parallel with my elbows, so obviously I'm not, you know, up too high, but generally you want to be kind of where your elbows rest naturally, you know, to reach out. So you can kind of see where Bogna's, it's kind of level with her elbows. So feels nice, feels very nice. And the suspension is very kind of cush feel. Let's get this into dynamic mode, and let's change our, so let's go over in the next little segment here. We'll go over our different modes and our different bar settings and whatnot. So on the right side, you've got your heated hand grips up here. Then you have your mode button and on and off. So let's get into our modes. So we're going to be mode road, dynamic, enduro, rain, and then back to road. So let's go ahead and go dynamic, and we're going to close the throttle, and into dynamic we go. So the difference between the obviously is the angle on which the traction control kind of kicks on. So in rain mode, you're going to have less or more traction control in the corners, and you're going to have less throttle response. Basically, it's taking the throttle and the bike down to manage the possibility of slippage. Plus, it manages obviously your front wheel and rear wheel speed sensors, so it knows if you're kind of doing a little burnout in the back, so gives you that. Then if you get up into road mode, it kind of opens up the throttles, gives you a little bit more lean angle, kind of retards back the traction control a little bit. And then dynamic mode, hell, dynamic mode is just full on mode, right? We've still got our, we're still going to have a wheelie control. It's still going to have your ABS. It's still going to have traction control, but it's going to be down to its minimum. And then when you get up into an enduro mode, the enduro mode's really going to trim that traction control and allow a little bit more slippage, okay? Because obviously you want to be able to have a little bit of slippage in the enduro mode. So, but we will ride the rest of the ride in dynamic mode. We will be dynamic. So the adventure is pretty wide. I'm pretty much fully covered by the side fairings, which is very nice. The windshield does get a little pop-up, I think. I think this one you have to pull kind of hard. So that was I'm kind of spoiled with the Tiger 1200, because the Tiger 1200 I just push the windshield mode and it comes up. But when we get stopped, we'll go ahead and pull that windshield up, give us a little bit more wind protection. But we do have the hand guards and a little bit of extra wind protection down here. I think a slightly larger windscreen on this would definitely be nice. That would be kind of the cherry on the top. So as you can see, HID headlights. Oh, it's already up. So that's why I wouldn't go up. So you can see here, you're already kind of, that's your down position and that's your up position. Now, most all, I believe, adventure and GS style bikes do come basically mounted with your GPS adapter. So we can get the adapter plugged right into there for your GPS system. It would be nice if they had a universal mount that could go with more of your phone than your than the GPS mount, because I think, for the Tiger, I just use my phone on it, so that would be nice. And then we've got our power socket up here, which now it's pretty much universal now all the way across, so very nice to be able to have a power socket if you need to run a power cord to your phone, or if you've got heated gear, to be able to have heated gear on and just plug it right there. There's also a power outlet towards the back, so you can get one for your passenger if they've got heated gear, or be able to just throw in an adapter in the back there. So over to our left, we've got our controls over here. We've got our cruise control. Now earlier on you saw me flip that off because you had your little cruise control gauge that comes on there. Obviously it's in red, which means just simply that your cruise control is on but not set. Now that's a nice indicator. You wouldn't really think that you would need that as much. Look, if it's on, right? But I'll tell you, I have a couple times on track with the S1000, I have accidentally hit that on and just accidentally turned on cruise control on the track, and I go to expect engine braking, and guess what? Negative. So this is nice to be able to go, hey, the cruise control's on, so we're going to be out here kind of on our mock freeway, so we'll set the cruise control here in a second. Get up into third. So we do got a little clunk on the lower revs. I think she's going to let us by. So when the revs come up, it does shift a little bit better. So let's go ahead. Yep, very smooth into fifth. Very smooth into sixth. Let's go ahead and sit that cruise control right at 62. Gives you a nice big green indication that your cruise control is set. And then of course you can throttle down, and it looks like it goes by 2, so that's kind of nice. Or throttle up, and then of course throttle back and it lets it go. Brakes or clutch all turns off the cruise control, so that's very, very nice. Of course we've got our flasher up in the front. Then we have our hazards here, horn on the bottom, and then our blinkers left and right, and our suspension. And then of course we have our menu button and jog dial, which control each other. So when you get into the menu button, so if we push the menu button down, it gets us into if we want to hook up our media or telephone, so we're jog dialing right or left into our settings. And obviously it's not allowing us to do anything right now except to go into my vehicles. So if we do want to go into my vehicles and check any messages that we have, what service is available, what the temperature is, what our PSIs on our tire is, so it does have the TPS system, as well as our charge, and how many miles till empty. So the TFT display, I haven't mentioned much about it because you guys have kind of seen it. I absolutely, by far, 100% over every single bike that we've test ride, BMW has absolutely 100% nailed the TFT display. Best display out there. So, and then of course we can go back and get into different readings. We've got our tripometer, and we've got, I think there's 2 tripometers. So it's kind of nice. You can see where we're up on the top, so we can go to another tripometer. And then what our services do and when our next service is due. And then of course we can get out of there and out of there, menu back up, and then we're back to the main screen. So I won't go through all of the menu buttons, and obviously you know, that's kind of a whole nother video. If you guys are interested in the menu buttons, most of the menus are close to being the same. I went through a very in-depth for the S1000. So if you guys want to see really the in-depth view of the menu button, the 2020 S1000 TFT display, it's like a 20-minute video where I go through every single menu. So, and that's something obviously you're going to do when you're stopped. When you're riding, there's, you know, kind of a limited amount of what we can kind of get into. So you can see there, you know, it's got a little bump like the GS. It's not very smooth into third, and then fourth it kind of levels out. So this is, the shifting is very much like the GS and the 1250 RT. Now the RT you wouldn't expect that from, because the RT is kind of a road bike, but seems like the adventure styles, that's kind of how it shifts, because when you get into the 1250 R and RS, it's shifted like butter. So not much to say with the shifting over there. And of course the S1000 is just seamless. It just doesn't matter what rev you're at, and it shouldn't really matter what rev you're at. Some people are like, oh, you're not up in a high enough rev. I shouldn't really have to be, truthfully. I should, you know, I mean, if I'm just standard shifting around town, I'm not going to be up, I don't need to be up at 8,000-9,000 RPMs to be shifting this bike. I'm cruising around town, right? So that's my that's my take in this shifting. Okay, we'll leave it at that. So we'll get into the menu real quick, because you can see we've got our navigation and our media, so you can play through your Bluetooth and whatnot. And then you can also hook up your phone to the app. Oh, that's nice. So the BMW has an app. A little difficult to kind of get paired up and everything. But once it was paired, it's really nice, because the GPS, when you set your GPS on your phone, that's why I think it would be very nice to be able to have a phone mount here to kind of talk to the GPS and the TFT display. But it kind of gives you turn by turn, and kind of, I think it shuts down this area, the screen, and tells you, you know, 3/4 of a mile you're going to be taking a left on so-and-so street. So the navigation is very nice integration on the TFT. So like I said, it would be now I'm assuming the all right, well, I'm assuming that the GPS, now I've never used a GPS with this TFT display, so I don't really know if those incorporate each other. So it would be expected that they would, but who knows? I haven't been able to play with that, so. So not too bad. Heading back here to A&S. You know, I would say this. Look, we're not big horsepower, right? We are at, you know, 90 horsepower, so not a lot of horsepower. But I'll say, you know, I felt very comfortable on this bike. The GS or the GS 1250. Sorry, it took me a second to think about what I wanted to say. Feels very much like this. Oh, did I tell you about the keyless ride? Finally. There's a love and hate with the keyless ride. Here's the love. The love, it's in my pocket. I can start the bike. The hate, BMW's fixed my hate. My Tiger 1200, I gotta have the key. Oh, thank you, BMW. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Oh my God, thank you. So yeah, let's take a look at this thing. So equipped already for bags, so you can actually just pretty much add the bags right on. Big old, I think 21-inch front wheel. Is that right? Is that right? Is that right? I believe 21-inch front wheel. So very nice Brembo fronts, Brembo rear. I really like it. I like it for the middleweight Adventure GS. This is nice, and with the seat option to be able to go low seat option and high seat option, really is kind of good for everybody. So anyways, guys, we're back here. We got another. So if you guys aren't looking for an enduro or adventure, and you're looking more for highway like our Tiger 1200, I do have the the Ducati 1260 Grand America or Grand Touring. So back here at A&S. So we'll see you guys next video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash that like button, and of course leave me a comment down below. We've got dealerships full of motorcycles, so if there's anything you would like us to ride, we're good. Bogna, how'd you like it? Do you like it?
I like it. I've always liked it. I want it.
The GS 750. So nice pair of middleweight adventure styles. So 750. You can see the size difference between the 700, 750, and 850. And then there's of course its predecessor, the older style F 800. So very nice. So we'll see you guys next video. Bye guys.